Greetings, Earthlings, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers. Welcome back to WizdomDropz, your source for daily drops of wisdom and savvy cat astrology. My name is Tonia, and today we are discussing what is Aquarius energy. Aquarius energy in general is on our radar. Why? It's the age of Aquarius, baby, the dawning. That's right, it's here. And so I am doing this short and sweet video just to explain what Aquarius energy really is. There's a lot of misconceptions about Aquarius out there, and there's also just some like simplifications that are just like really reductive. And so I'm trying to bring a little bit more depth to your current understanding of Aquarian energy in general, as we will be seeing more of it in the coming years. Before I jump into all them juicy details, a couple quick announcements for you. Number one, if you're not subscribed already, what is you doing? I put out a video every single day of the week for free 99, baby. That's right. It's information for you, for your life, to improve whatever your astrological understanding, your existence. Maybe you're trying to live more harmoniously with the stars. Whatever the case is for you, I'm here for you 7 days a week. So if you haven't already, you are welcome to join us if you resonate with this content. Number two, if this video by the end of it brings you any joy, any information, any useful stuff whatsoever, I invite you to like it because that helps more people out there get the information. That's just how the internet works. So in the spirit of the Aquarian age and sharing information, there's that. You can also share it with a friend. Okay, and last but not least, I'm available for booking readings again. If you are interested in that, I offer those in exchange for an exchange rate, and you can email me with the email address listed in this comment box or whatever that little thing at the bottom of the video description, if you're so inclined. Okay, now let's jump into it. So Aquarius energy in general, first thing you may not know about Aquarius energy is that it's actually ruled by Saturn, y'all. A lot of people have a misconception about this because they think, oh, Aquarius, that's like Uranus, right? Yes and no. Guess what? Before Uranus was even like on humans' radar for real, it was a Saturn ruled sign, okay? And it's like Capricorn in that way, but it's totally different because it's an air sign. But with that said, we can learn a lot about the archetype of Aquarius at a deeper level as a result of understanding its true, ancient, OG, original planetary ruler. And that's going to be, again, Saturn. So what do we know about Aquarius energy going off, putting that on a shelf? Number one, it is quirky AF. Aquarius is original, it is fresh, it is innovative, it is genius, deeply intelligent, deeply intellectual, also deeply willing to be their own authority and be their own system, be their own structure. Because again, now we know off this little shelf, Aquarius is, yes, an air sign, which you might think makes them all flitty ditty, whatever, like Libras or Gems. No offense, I'm a Libra, but it's a Saturn ruled sign. So it's serious at the end of the day. At the end of the day, even though it's this mutable kind of like energy, even though it's a fixed sign, I don't want to confuse you, of air, because air moves is the point I'm trying to make. Air is not like stagnant all the time, right? It is ruled by Saturn. So it has a spine. It has a backbone. Aquarius has a structure to it because it is Saturnian ruled, you feel? So that's the thing to know. The other reason, why is it so like original? Well, because you took Saturn and you put it in an air sign. So it's like air as an element across the 3 air signs is intellect. It is communication. It is information. Okay, and it is inherently people oriented. Did you know that the 3 air signs of the zodiac are all shown with human figures for their representation in the ancient times? So like Virgo, has his own thing there, or her own thing there. But like, for example, if we look at Taurus, that's a bull. If we look at Scorpio, that's going to be depending on what you're looking at, it could be the scorpion, the eagle, or the phoenix, you see? So like the human shown images are for air signs alone in ancient times. So that's really beautiful to think about in the context of understanding Aquarius energy further, because think about it. It's Saturn ruled, so it's systems, it's structure, it's the way that things are arranged in order for them to work. It's serious in that regard, but it's an air sign. So this is where we get into a nuanced understanding of Aquarius even more deeply. And we didn't even bring in Uranus yet, which we will talk about. But from that alone, the fact that Saturn is ruling this air sign, it shows us that governmental systems in the coming era that we are entering into will be becoming more people oriented, whereas they have previously been very earth element oriented, as this whole great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn have been happening for hundreds of years in earth signs, okay, with an exception happening in the 80s, but that was only like a 20-year like window that just like came and went. So it's been like earthly concerns for our government, in other words, for the last hundreds of years. And earth, like any element, y'all, you know this, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers, it will resonate at, like any element, at a high and a low vibration, depending on what energy is being brought into the equation or into the cosmic plug-in, if you will, of like the planets. So with that said, I'm just trying to bring up to your attention that we're inherently shifting our systems, our governmental systems, our communication systems, our interfacing systems, okay? All the systems of the world, our farming systems, whatever, they're going to become more human oriented, more people oriented, more socially inclined, more like here for the engagement and the exchange of information quality or caliber, perhaps we could call it. Not to say earthly matters are going away, that is a joke and an extreme misinformation if you're thinking that. It's going to be more of an advancement of technology in reference to those things. And mind you, isn't it gorgeous that Uranus, the other modern ruler, here we're talking about it, y'all, of Aquarius, is currently transiting for a good chunk of time. It takes like 8 years to get through any given sign, more or less. Taurus, which is the sign of like the fixed earth, the most earth. So we have, at the time of this new era that we're walking into, I'm getting a little bit into what we'll be discussing in the other video now, but it will be in an earth sign, even though Aquarius as an energy is a very much so a fixed air sign, right? So anyway, Aquarian energy is quirky and it's innovative because Uranus is also its ruler. And yes, that's true. We don't want to take any Uranus sparkle away from the equation, but Uranus is going to be you know, the thing that people attribute to Aquarius because of these more what do I want to say, like these more kitschy kind of associations like ETs and the digitalization of everything and the very like rainbow colored socks, like all these very like stereotypical like Aquarian things. Because Uranus rotates on its own axis, on its own like sideways, like it spirals, in other words, like it has rings around it like Saturn, but Uranus goes like this when it rotates instead of like this, like Saturn normally would, if that makes sense. So that's just something to think about in terms of like, oh, that's an interesting layer of Aquarius energy. But it is liberation, it is revolution, it is all this like against the grain sort of thing that we typically associate with Aquarius. And it is again independent thinking. And the reason that Aquarius, I'm about to drop this on you, the reason that Aquarius is concerned with social justice and other people's needs and desires and rights is because Aquarius knows what it's like to live and to exist in a place where they are not entirely accepted or understood. And somehow, in some way, shape, or form, there is some group of people or some entity out there at some point in time that Aquarius energy beings come into contact with, and they do not get them. They do not understand them. They do not like the fact that they exist the way that they exist. Now, does this bother Aquarius? 9 times out of 10, hell nah. It depends what else is going on in the chart, you know what I'm saying? But nah, because that is where you're going to understand Aquarius energy deeper when you begin to get what their psychological status is like. It's like because those people don't agree with them, if they're trying to thwart them, an Aquarius might feel pissed by that, sure. But they are Saturn ruled. They are like a sponge of emotion in that they just absorb it and like it goes into a portal somewhere. Like they don't contain a lot of emotion in the process, generally speaking. But what they contain as the water bearer is this almost like I see it as like a nutritive force of air energy. So it's kind of like an elixir of nourishment of information. And so Aquarius will send you that elixir of information without being concerned with the more low vibe or the more like challenging quicksand energy of another water sign you might associate, like Cancer, for example. So they're the water bearer, but again, they're an air sign. So it's like you go into this deeper understanding of Aquarius and that they contain this water, quote unquote, of consciousness, air sign. And that's the medicine that an Aquarian energy being will give you. And with that very profound note, I think we're going to wrap this video up. Through next time, until next time, like, subscribe, and may the stars be with you.